All right, everybody, welcome back. I am so excited for today's deep dive.
Me
We
too.
are talking about commercial construction in 2025.
Looking ahead?
Looking ahead, yeah,
Fun.
exactly. And we've got some awesome resources for this.
Absolutely.
Two main ones. First, we have a message from our sponsor, Aerial Decisions.
Oh, very cool.
And then we also have a report from Hub International.
This is going to be good.
Yeah. So if you are in the commercial construction industry, if you're prepping for a meeting, if you just want to know what the future holds for buildings and infrastructure,
You come to the right place.
this is it. This is the place to be.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let's just jump right into it.
Let's do it.
So Aerial Decisions,
Okay.
they're a company that uses drones and software for construction projects, and they're offering a free consultation to our listeners.
So, wow.
Yeah. So if you're interested in that, just,
Definitely take advantage of that.
yeah, look for the link in the show notes. But basically what they do is they have a network of certified drone pilots all over the country.
Mm.
And yeah, and they can do all sorts of cool things like take aerial photographs of your construction site. They can do data analysis. They can even help you with progress monitoring. So
It's incredible how much drones are being used in the industry these days.
yeah, it's pretty amazing.
It's like having an eye in the sky.
Exactly.
You can see everything that's happening on your site.
Yeah, and I think it's really interesting that they're offering this free consultation because it really shows that they're experts in this field and they want to help people.
Absolutely.
So yeah, if you're at all interested in drones in construction, I would definitely recommend checking them out.
For sure.
Okay, so moving on to the Hub International report.
Okay.
This is it's a big report. It's an outlook on the commercial construction industry in 2025.
Big year.
Big year.
Big year for construction.
It's a big year for construction. Yeah. And it covers all sorts of trends and challenges. So
That's what we like to hear.
yeah. So one of the first things that caught my eye was that they're predicting that the global construction industry is going to hit $15.5 trillion by 2030.
Yeah. That's a huge number.
It is a huge number.
It's hard to even wrap your head around.
It is, yeah.
I mean, think about it. Everything that goes into construction, all the materials, the labor, the equipment,
Yeah.
it all adds up.
And it's a global thing. This is not just the United States.
Absolutely.
This is all over the world.
Yeah. So what's driving this growth?
Well, they talk about a few things in the report.
Yeah.
One of them is urbanization.
Sure.
More and more people are moving to cities.
And they need places to live and work
Right.
and shop and play.
Exactly. So all that needs to be built.
Yeah.
And then another thing is aging infrastructure.
Yeah.
A lot of our roads, bridges, tunnels, they're all getting old
Right.
and they need to be repaired or replaced.
Yeah, a lot of that stuff was built decades ago. It's
Exactly.
reaching the end of its lifespan.
Yeah. And then, of course, there's population growth.
More people, more buildings.
More buildings, more everything.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's a combination of all these factors that's driving this huge growth in the construction industry.
It's fascinating.
It is. And I think it's exciting because it means that there are going to be a lot of opportunities in this industry in the years to come.
Absolutely. If you're looking for a career with a lot potential, construction is a great place to be.
Okay, so let's talk about technology
Okay.
because the report talks a lot about how technology is going to transform the construction industry in the next few years.
Yeah, it's already happening in a big way.
It is, and it's only going to accelerate.
Right.
So one of the technologies that they highlight is building information modeling, or BIM.
BIM is huge.
It is huge.
It's basically a digital twin of a building.
It is, yeah.
You can see everything in 3D.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. So you can use BIM for all sorts of things. You can use it for design, you can use it for planning, you can use it for construction, you can even use it for operations and maintenance.
Right, so it's not just for the architects and engineers anymore. It's
Yeah.
for everyone involved in the project.
And one of the big benefits of BIM is that it can help to prevent costly mistakes
Oh, absolutely.
because you can catch problems early on in the design phase.
Right, if you see that the plumbing is going to clash with the electrical, you can fix it in the model before you even start building.
Yeah, exactly.
And that can save you a lot of time and money down the road.
And headaches.
And headaches, for sure.
So yeah, BIM is a really powerful tool, and I think it's going to become even more important in the years to come,
I think so, too.
especially as buildings become more complex.
Right, and we're seeing more and more buildings with smart technology and sustainable features.
Right.
And BIM can help to manage all of that complexity.
Okay, so let's bring this back to drones,
Okay.
because remember Aerial Decisions.
Yeah, our sponsor.
Our sponsor, yes. So the Hub International report actually specifically mentions drones as a key technology that's going to shape the construction industry in 2025.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
So basically what they're saying is that drones are going to become essential for collecting data and monitoring progress on construction sites.
Makes sense.
Yeah, because, drones can fly over a construction site and take pictures and videos, and they can do it much faster and more efficiently than a human can.
Right. And they can get into places that would be difficult or dangerous for a human to access.
Exactly.
So like a really tall building or a bridge.
Yeah, or like, if there's a hazard on the site, like a gas leak or something like that, you can send a drone in to check it out without putting a human at risk.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the data that drones collect can be used for all sorts of things.
Yeah, like what?
Well, you can use it to create 3D models of the site. You can use it to track progress. You can use it to identify potential problems.
Like a crack in a foundation or something?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can even use it to inspect the quality of the work that's being done.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Okay, so let's talk about the economy. Because the Hub International report also talks about the economic forces that are going to shape the construction industry in 2025.
Yeah, the economy always plays a big role in construction.
It does. Yeah. And they highlight a few key trends.
Like what?
Well, inflation is a big one.
Of course.
Prices are going up
For everything.
for everything. Yeah, materials, labor, energy.
And that makes construction projects more expensive.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that can make it harder to get projects off the ground.
Right, because developers need to be sure that they can make a profit.
Exactly. So another trend is labor shortages.
Yeah, it's hard to find skilled workers these days.
It is, yeah, and that's partly because of the aging workforce,
A lot of experienced workers are retiring.
and there aren't enough young people coming in to replace them.
Right, and that's a problem because the construction industry needs skilled workers to build all these new buildings and infrastructure projects.
And then the third trend that they highlight is supply chain disruptions.
Yeah, we've all seen that in recent years.
We have, the pandemic, the war in Ukraine, all these things have disrupted global supply chains.
And it's made it harder to get materials.
It has, yeah. And that's caused delays and increased costs for construction projects.
Right, it's a real challenge.
So yeah, these are some of the key economic forces that are going to shape the construction industry in 2025.
It's a lot to think about.
It is, yeah.
But I think it's important for construction companies to be aware of these trends so that they can plan accordingly.
Okay, so now let's talk about risk management,
Okay.
because the Hub International report also talks about how important risk management is becoming in the construction industry.
It's always been important, but it's becoming even more important.
It is, yeah. And that's because of all the challenges that we've been talking about.
Right, the economy, the technology, the labor shortages.
Yeah, so basically they're saying that construction companies need to be more proactive about managing risk.
They can't just wait for something bad to happen.
Right.
They need to identify potential risks and develop plans to mitigate them.
And they highlight 3 specific areas of risk that construction companies need to be aware of:
Okay, what are they?
cybersecurity, climate change, and economic volatility.
Yeah, those are all big ones.
They are, yeah.
Okay.
So let's start with cybersecurity.
Okay.
So as you know, construction companies are using more and more technology these days.
The BIM drones, all that stuff.
Exactly. And that makes them more vulnerable to cyber attacks.
Right, because hackers can steal data or disrupt operations.
Yeah, and that can have a huge impact on a construction project.
Absolutely. It can cause delays. It can increase costs. It can even damage a company's reputation.
Yeah, so construction companies need to take cybersecurity very seriously.
They need to have strong security measures in place.
Right.
They need to train their employees on how to spot phishing emails and other scams.
And they need to have a plan in place for what to do if they do get attacked.
Exactly.
Okay, so next up is climate change.
Okay.
So climate change is already having an impact on the construction industry.
We're seeing more extreme weather events,
We are like hurricanes, floods, wildfires.
and that can damage buildings and infrastructure.
It can. Yeah, and it can also disrupt construction projects.
Right, because you can't build if the weather is too bad.
Exactly. So construction companies need to start taking climate change into account when they're designing and building buildings.
They need to make sure that their buildings are resilient to extreme weather.
Right. They need to use materials that can withstand high winds and flooding.
And they need to consider the impact of their buildings on the environment.
Yeah, they need to think about things like energy efficiency and water conservation.
Absolutely.
Okay. And then the third area of risk that they highlight is economic volatility.
Yeah, the economy is always unpredictable.
It is, yeah. And that can make it difficult for construction companies to plan for the future.
Right, because they don't know what's going to happen with interest rates or material prices.
Exactly. So construction companies need to be prepared for the unexpected,
They need to have contingency plans in place.
right? They need to be able to adjust their plans if the economy takes a downturn.
And they need to have strong financial management practices.
So yeah, risk management is a really important topic for the construction industry, and I think it's only going to become more important in the years to come.
I agree.
Okay, well, this has been a really fascinating and deep dive. We've learned a lot about the future of commercial construction.
We've covered a lot of ground.
We have, yeah. And I think the big takeaway is that the construction industry is going to be transformed by technology, economic forces, and evolving risks in the years to come.
Absolutely.
So companies need to be prepared for these changes, and they need to be proactive about managing risk.
I think the companies that are able to adapt and innovate are going to be the ones that succeed.
I agree, and I think Aerial Decisions is a great example of a company that's doing just that.
They're using technology to improve the construction process.
We are, yeah, and they're helping companies to manage risk.
So if you're in the construction industry, I would definitely recommend checking them out.
Yeah, and don't forget they're offering a free consultation to our listeners, so.
Take advantage of that.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so before we wrap up, I just want to leave you with a final thought.
Okay.
Given all that we've discussed, what aspect of construction in 2025 are you most excited about?
That's a good question.
Yeah, or what challenges do you foresee?
I think it's going to be interesting to see how technology continues to transform the industry.
Me too.
And I think it's going to be important for companies to find ways to attract and retain skilled workers.
Yeah, that's a big one.
But overall, I'm optimistic about the future of construction.
Me too.
I think it's a great industry to be a part of.
All right, well, that's all the time we have for today.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining me. This was a great conversation.
I enjoyed it.
All right, everyone, until next time, keep building the future.
See ya.